these guys, the ones that are migrating through the center part of the country, these buff-breasted sandpipers, then winter way down in the grasslands, interior grasslands of essentially pastures and open wetland prairies down there in the southern part of Uruguay and northern part of Argentina.
Wow.
So the semi-palmated sandpipers that are coming both out of Alaska and eastern Canada, we probably saw about 1,500 of them today right here on the beaches. I was out on the South Beach of Chatham, and those birds are already migrating south. But we just wanted to show the difference in migration patterns between these two, because we're going to talk a little bit about them and some of the research that's going on that Manomet has been involved with. So.
Wow. You were in Chatham today, looking at birds?
Yeah, maybe you don't want to know that I was driving very quickly between where I was to get here tonight. So I
That's
was.
okay.
I was.
Karen would have paid for the ticket.
But I was out on actually out on Manomet with Brian Harrington, who was one of the founding scientists at the shorebird scientist at Manomet. Some of the work that's going on today, conservation work, was based on some of his original work, and he is still at it. And he's retired from Manomet now, but was out with him today on the beach and looking at a bird called a red knot that he spent his whole career studying. So it's a nice link. But
Manomet is a beautiful place.
It's really spectacular. It's changing with the storms from last winter. It has opened up. It's changed, but it was interesting to see.
We were in that area this past Sunday and looking around, and it's beautiful down there. Anyways, I took you off again.
No, we're just we're with you.
Well, okay.
We're with you.
We're all together.
We're all together.
All right, super.
All right. So I had a couple people worried about me getting here on time tonight. Is what I'm leading to. So,
okay,
but we're here. We're good.
You made it.
Made it. Yeah, Ian was going to handle it by himself.
Will you take a check for the
ticket? Yeah, no tickets. I was doing pretty well. It was just I think anyway, we'll get into that. Yeah, we'll get into that.
508-830-3971. Come on, get involved. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So yeah, the research we're doing, we're part of what we call Manomet's Arctic Demographics, Shorebird Demographics Network. And there are camps starting way over in Russia all the way over to eastern Canada that are essentially doing the same thing, measuring various parts of the biology of the birds we're studying, these shorebirds. And here Stephen Brown is holding a semi-palmated sandpiper. You can see the size of the bird if you can see what's in his hand. They're very small.
Yeah.
It is a phenomenal thing to think about that bird, and you saw the migration routes they take.
Yes.
From high Arctic going all the way down into southern South America. So into the north coast of South America in the case of the semi-palms. We're doing banding of these birds. We're doing color banding of these birds to follow them from one year to another, looking at survival of the birds that are nesting up there. That's why we're going to the Arctic, because they tend to come back to the territories where they were the year before. So we can, as wide ranging as these birds are, we can come back to their nesting grounds and observe them year after year and understand their survival throughout the year. We also are looking at nesting survival, how those nests go from one day to day, actually, just to see where some of the problems are with declines we've seen in them, how we can pinpoint what life stage is most threatened or vulnerable to create declines in the population. So you imagine camps like we've been talking about across the Arctic, all doing the same thing. It's the really large-scale effort that has never been attempted before with such a large group of people, and with all the different partners we have. There are about 15 or or 20 different institutions and state government organizations and nonprofits like ourselves that are all dependent on funding, and from public funding is definitely part of the work we do.
That's why people need to go to www.manomet.org.
That would be great. Find some programs there and get in touch with our development folks too. Yeah,
Okay.
get in touch with our development folks.
Now, we're getting close. We've got about 10 more minutes.
Really? Okay.
So
Let's just.
we can stay here and talk afterwards if you want to.
Sure, let's do that.
But,
Let's rip through the slides then.
but I want to
We've
make
got some
sure
good
that
slides.
I want to make sure that people get to see some of Ian's great work here.
Yeah. And mine, but I won't
And
take
yours. I'm sorry, Brad. I meant no disrespect, Brad. I'm sorry.
No, I've been. He's a phenomenal photographer.
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm
I
sorry.
try. How about that? I try.
All right.
So we got some stories to tell you. This is a semi-palmated sandpiper, and the bands I was telling you about,
Yes.
you can see on the legs, individually banded. We can follow that bird for as many years as it goes back to Arctic landscape to nest. Go ahead. We've got some good stories to tell you. Here's a semi-palmated male displaying, trying to catch the attention of a female up there. Really neat behavior that bird enthusiasts here don't get to see very
Yeah,
often.
that's cute.
Yeah, and she wasn't paying much attention to him.
She
That's
seems kind of blasé, yeah.
yeah, you might have seen that one on Twitter. Actually, I tweeted that one.
I
that
think I
photograph.
did see
Yeah,
that one,
yeah.
yes.
Okay, this one Ian can talk about. This is the buff-breasted sandpiper we wanted to talk about. And this is a full display. Go ahead.
So just like the last picture shown, the male bird is the one with his wings up trying to attract the females. But in this one, they're paying a little bit more attention. If you can notice, just to the left and right of his head, there are actually two females that are inches away from him, almost under his wings, checking out every single feather, making sure it's just in the right place. And if it's not, then they're heading away.
And there's one behind him that's kind of hard to see. She's just to the left. Yeah.
So they're just checking him out from every direction. And
So he's popular.
well, maybe. I don't know. That he hasn't finished inspection yet.
Yeah.
But if you ever think you've been judged or anything, you've never been under the scrutiny that a buff-breasted sandpiper gets when he's displaying.
There's Ian taking a photograph of the birds, and as he mentioned before, there tends to be, if you're quiet and you lie still, these guys will go through their behaviors. And here's one that's trying to attract attention of females that are flying by. Mostly, he's literally waving at them, and you see that white underwing. It turns into a flash out on the tundra.
Wow.
So buff-breasteds are one of the birds that we're studying up there. And go ahead. There's a photo of a bird doing that's an Ian photo of a bird holding his wing up. Yeah, they're really sharp, and they look a little bit like a dove.
Yes.
A little bit like a dove. These are the guys that live in the grasslands I was telling you about. They're not, we'll see them on Outer Cape, usually the young ones, starting in early September. A few of them, but most of them do migrate into the middle part of the country, and the issues there again are interior wetlands and grasslands, natural prairie grasslands that have disappeared, and these birds are under some strain. They're actually quite rare, the buff-breasteds. There's a shorebird nest right there, a little bit right of center. You see 4 eggs.
The 4 eggs.
See how camouflaged they are, and we have to find those nests. And Ian mentioned that we trap them with little bow nets over that nest. So we find the nest, and unlike what we use here with the mist nets, we use a little bow net. And just like you probably had as a kid trying to box trap a rabbit or something, we walk away with a little fishing line, and we actually pop the net over the bird on the nest. So that's how we actually catch them.
Oh.
Go ahead. We've got some good ones to roll. I want to end up with your great one at the end with our big white friend.
Indeed.
Buff-breasted chick. Really neat. Really camouflaged little guy that's just hatched out probably a day or so before this picture.
The one to the right.
Yeah, so the one on the left is an adult, and actually there are 3 chicks under her right now. She keeps them warm for a few days after they've hatched. And so the 4th guy on the right was scooting over and about to get under her for some warming up as well. Yep.
Okay, quick story, and this is the incredible one you read about in our tweets.
Twitter,
on our Twitter. So we're in Ian's in northern Alaska. Picture that, northern Alaska.
Right.
Go ahead.
So I don't know if you noticed, but the photo of the banded bird earlier, there was a green marker on its leg.
Yes.
And in this one, that is a blue marker. So the flag color indicates which country it's from. Blue
Really?
means it's from Brazil.
Really?
So we're up there in northern Alaska and doing all of our normal duties, and we go out and we check a nest, and a bird flushes off the nest, and it has a blue flag on its leg. Amazing coincidence. There's a guy named David Mizrahi who works for New Jersey Audubon Society who is banding birds in northeastern Brazil, and one of his birds turned up on our study area about 8,000 miles away.
Wow.
In northern Alaska.
And my Twitter account went nuts. I was getting tweets about this bird.
And what's even crazier is that last year we had another Brazil bird. It was a different one. So in 2 years, out of the 1,200 birds that he has banded, we've gotten 2 of them in the same location.
No kidding.
So his banding site is just to the east of the mouth of the Amazon River on the coast of Brazil. So picture the
Like-
tropical, Amazon River.
That little fellow went all that distance.
Draining the entire central part of South America.
Right.
This guy and many of the others winter over down there. Now that bird has to get all the way to northern Alaska, and to do that, it's the long distance hops I was telling you about.
Right.
So they need specific areas to refuel, to migrate all the way up to Alaska by breeding season, and then all the way down again, and survive all the hazards along the way. So we have created some impediments for those guys with some of our habitat destruction we've done along the way. So Manomet is working to figure out where the stopover sites are, how we can tell people about them, and how we can help protect them with these refueling stops. So that little guy.
I could see why he was excited over seeing that, because just by seeing the blue band,
Absolutely.
because he's around, he understands what it is.
And New Jersey Audubon is one of Manomet's partners, and we work with them on different projects. And Dave Mizrahi is a fellow researcher, so we collaborate with people not only in New England but also all the way down into South America. As part of what Manomet does is to bring people to work together to solve large hemispheric-sized issues, and we've been doing that since the early '70s.
Very good.
Let's go quickly if we can. I know this is a little semi-palmated chick, really special little guys, little fuzzball. Oh, here we go. This is one we wanted to talk about. This is an Ian photo.
So as you might be able to tell, this is a polar bear.
Yes.
Which is pretty incredible sight to be able to witness. And what's very unusual about it is that this photo was taken several miles inland, which is highly unusual for polar bears. They're normally species that stick right along the coast and are really tied to the ice, the sea ice up there. And this was very special in that it was very early as well. The pack ice melted much earlier than usual, and so this bear was way out of where it should be, and it was the first time that it had ever been seen there. And definitely a sign of change in the climate and the whole world up there.
And one more bit about the bear. I know we want to end up there, but body-wise, you can look at that guy and understand that it's not in good shape. It's fairly thin. Polar bears at this time of year, if they're healthy, have been eating seals all winter long out on the ice. And this guy is thin, and apparently he smelled a dead caribou or something, came inland. So last slide we have is actually right out here on Plymouth, Long Beach, and this is part of the migration. And these are semi-palmated sandpipers that we've been talking about that could be coming out of Alaska. Definitely some of the birds from the eastern part of the range are coming down. So your viewers and we are all connected to the work we're doing and to these far off places, and we're just trying to get the word out that that our coastal areas are hosting. We are hosting these birds that travel incredible distances, and treating them right while they're here and other places within the U.S. I think is a very important stewardship necessity and responsibility that we have to steward these special birds as they go.
Well, speaking for myself, and also speaking for my wife Karen, you guys are welcome here anytime. Because
Is Karen cooking some dinner for us? Is that why she's not here?
well,
That was
she's,
it?
no, she's
I'm just
getting
kidding.
ready for this big meeting that she has tomorrow night,
Okay.
and she's really very sorry that she couldn't be here.
She was
tonight,
great
really.
last time. I enjoyed
Yeah.
talking to her.
Well,
but
she's-
you've been good too.
Well,
I
I try to be. I try to be because I'm as interested in this stuff as she is, and you know, it's. You guys do fabulous stuff. You really do, and Ian, I extend you the same invitation as I do to Brad and to your other associate, whose name is escaping me at the minute.
Stephen Brown.
Stephen Brown, and there was somebody that sent something over for Karen the last time too.
Dave McClinchy.
Dave McClinchy. You gentlemen are welcome here anytime.
You
at
don't
all.
know Dave, but I'll let him know ananyway that you.
Well,
yeah.
you know,
that might be pushing a little bit if you're
well-
being that kind.
Really, this has been absolutely fabulous. I can't thank you enough. Really, thank you
It's
so
been
much
great.
for being
Thanks
here.
for hosting
And I
us.
really do appreciate it,
Manomet,
Ian.
Manomet.org.
Manomet, www.manomet.org. And for the crew here at Talk of the Town, for my wife Karen, thank you to Stevie, thank you to Jimmy. I'm Ken, and I want to thank you for tuning in tonight. We're going to see you in 7, and I believe in 7 we're going to be talking about whales. I think that's what it is. But anyways, we'll see you in 7. Thanks for tuning in.